The Human Rights Act protects you in all areas of life, such as your right to an education, a fair trial, and to freedom of expression. If your rights are breached, the courts can enforce them. Here are some cases that have involved the Human Rights Act. Families affected by the Hillsborough disaster used the Act to present evidence to a jury in a new inquest. This revealed that mistakes made by the police and others had led to their loved ones' deaths. Mrs. Ueda, a British Airways employee, was prevented from wearing a visible Christian cross with her uniform. She used the Act to prove her right to religious freedom had been violated. The airline changed its policy. A Do Not Attempt CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation notice, was placed on Mrs. Tracy's medical notes without her knowledge. This breached her human rights, and health workers now have to involve patients or their families in any decision about DNA CPR notices. After the death of his partner, Juan Godin Mendoza pleaded that gay couples should have the same tenancy rights as heterosexual couples. The Supreme Court decided that courts need to read the phrase surviving spouse in the Rent Act as including the surviving partner of a same-sex couple, even before same-sex relationships were legally recognised in the UK. Mr. and Mrs. Driscoll had lived together for over 65 years. Mr. Driscoll was moved into a residential care home. Mrs. Driscoll was told she didn't meet the criteria to live there too. This was a breach of the couple's right to a family life. It was reassessed and the couple were reunited. Jan Sutton had multiple sclerosis. The council only paid for carers to make short visits to her home. The rest of the time she was confined to her bed. Jan took legal action under the Human Rights Act to secure better care from the council and won. As a result, she was able to enjoy a better quality of life. She became a committed campaigner for human rights until she died. If you are worried that your human rights have been breached, contact a solicitor or the Equality Advisory and Support Service for advice.